Narcissists have a bad habit of treating people like dirt, and they don't really see a problem in it. And to somebody who's normal, who has a healthy mind, it's hard for them to grasp that concept, which is treating people badly, treating people like dirt. And how can somebody be okay with doing that? There are many reasons that narcissists are okay with treating people that way. And it's they can justify it to themselves in many different ways. So I've known people who, in their mind, they look at people, basically anybody, and they'll think to themselves, oh, that person's had it better than me in life. They haven't really experienced, the toughness, the duress of life, and haven't really experienced the reality of the world. So it's almost like they're giving people a reality check. So they get a sense of the real harshness of the world. And so some people will use that kind of thought to justify treating people badly. Or maybe say your partner's a narcissist, and at some point you did something to anger them, which is inevitable. The slightest, most insignificant things can really upset narcissists, even if you've done nothing wrong. It's just they're prone to getting these narcissistic injuries. So you've done something, let's say almost insignificant, but it upset them. Every now and again, they'll think of that thing that you did. They get triggered by that thought, and then they feel they need to punish you to kind of even the score of how they feel at that moment in time. Again, that's another way that narcissists justify mistreating people, treating them like dirt. And some of the most conceited, most grandiose narcissists basically think that anybody who's in their presence is receiving a blessing, like it's a privilege to be in their presence. So if you're on the receiving end of any of their woes, any of their projections, it's a small price to pay to be in the divine presence, which is them. It's almost like you should be thankful that they're even tolerating your existence, your presence. You're in no right whatsoever to complain about them treating you badly. A lot of narcissists do have that kind of grandiose way of seeing themselves well above others. And even if there's no particular reason for the narcissist to want to treat you badly, narcissists need to project to regulate themselves. In other words, when they have these internal toxic feelings about themselves or life, they need to outlay that on others. So they project their negativity on others. Because the way that they see it, either they have to feel like crap or they have to make somebody else feel like crap. And when faced with that choice, of course, who do you think they're going to pick? That they have to watch after their own back. That's how they see it. So if you think about all that, then really, unless you're willing to have a very low self-esteem, unless you're willing to let your self-esteem drop to dangerous lows, then the narcissist doesn't really want to have much to do with you. The price you pay to play a meaningful part in their lives, is that you have to accept that you need to lower your self-esteem so you can raise theirs. There's no way you can rationalize yourself into a healthy relationship with a narcissist. That's just not how it works. When you're dealing with somebody who lacks empathy, they lack compassion, they lack compassionate empathy. They cannot see the whole idea of hurting somebody else and making somebody feel bad. They just can't see that as something that really matters. They really struggle to accept that other people matter. And even if the narcissist didn't deliberately want to hurt you, because sometimes they hurt you just being themselves, even if they hurt you not really wanting to, at the same time, they have no problem doing so. You know, on the one hand, you have some narcissists that might go out of the way to hurt people, but other ones just do it because it's just in their nature. They're being themselves. But even in the latter case, because they lack this empathy and this ability to care, they still don't have a problem with hurting you, even if they don't really get much pleasure. A lot of times they hurt people just to stabilize themselves, But then the more sadistic, malignant ones do it to feed off your suffering. But even if they're not trying to feed off your suffering, they hurt you to regulate themselves, and they don't really care about your suffering. And sometimes you might find that you're with somebody you care about, you're seeing some very toxic patterns, they're projecting on you too much, they're blame shifting too much, they're manipulating you, very unpleasant. And let's say you call them out on it. Well, that doesn't usually work either, because narcissists have some very tough defense mechanisms. They have this uncanny, crazy-making way of putting a spin on things to all of a sudden make themselves look like the victim and making you look like the perpetrator. And they do it so well, often you would believe it. So you're dealing with somebody who punishes you, who hurts you, who treats you like dirt. They project on you their toxicity. But when push comes to shove, they wear the victim hat. They feel sorry for themselves, and they expect you to feel sorry for them too. So that's why you can't really win with narcissists, and you can't even really meet them halfway. It's their way or the highway. The only way you can really win for yourself is to disengage or keep the relationship extremely superficial.